Welcome to the Disney Hour Express podcast. I'm Abbie.
And I'm Rob. We are two hopelessly romantic Disney enthusiasts.
Sharing fun stories, secret tips, and family travel experiences.
If you are a Disney newbie, or maybe a season pass holder, we hope you find this information helpful.
We turned our love of Disney into a unique boutique travel agency that books Disney and Universal vacations.
We've got a lot of stories, so cozy on up, choose your favorite drink,
whether that be a cocktail or a hot chocolate,
and enjoy the Disney Hour Express.
Well, hey, Potterneers. We are back with the Disney Hour Express episode 107. I feel much more comfortable that we're not recording this live today. So sorry.
We are recording it live.
Sure, but not with videos.
Not with videos, but no one really knew that because no one was watching. But we will be back. I cannot keep your beautiful mug all to myself. I must share it with the world.
Well, it sounds like you owe the world a dance or two.
I don't know about that.
We'll see.
We gotta get 100 likes.
Uh-huh.
If we get 100 likes on our Instagram vid, there will be a video of me twerking. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. We're not going to take this over again. But what I will say is, hi-ho!
Excellent.
Hi-ho! And now I'm not speaking derogatory to you. I am introing our topic for the week.
That's right. We're talking about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. We're getting into all the magic, the history, and the legacy. So this is awesome. As you might have heard, the Snow White live action film is coming out at the end of this month, but it had to start somewhere, right? So this Disney animated classic came out in 1937, and it was one of the first feature-length animated films for Disney, which is like so bold. Like, what a crazy movie to start with, right? I wouldn't even have thought of this, but Walt Disney had a fascination with Snow White ever since he saw the silent version of the German fairy tale. This is by a Brothers Grimm story, and he decided to take what everybody around him thought was totally impossible, which was to create the full-length animated feature, and he did it. He did it.
Now, was the German fairy tale the same name?
The Brothers Grimm?
Yeah.
I think so, no?
Well, was it German?
I don't think it was it was a silent film, right? That he saw.
What was the story? What was the original story? That's what I want to get to. It was called Husi Wolfenpuff.
Oh boy. Rob is just off the rails today, as usual. So anyways, and then he just goes silent, just leaves me here. So this was they hadn't done 90-minute cartoons before, and there was a lot of Hollywood skeptics, as you could imagine. Would you, as a young adult, would you have been interested in going to see this film, right? Because at the time it was just probably young adults and adults going to films. You wouldn't necessarily, I don't know, maybe you brought the whole fam to films. What do you think?
I think Snow White, right? That was the first became where kids were now
included in the going
kids
to
were
the
included,
theater.
but I guess it wasn't where I always heard, I guess back in 1937 it was different, but in the 50s and stuff, you'd always hear, oh well, my parents would tell me, I'd go, my mom would drop me off there with a quarter, and I would eat popcorn and drink soda and watch 7 movies. And
seriously, that was like a story.
I might be exaggerating with the price, but Yes, they would just go there all day and watch movies.
So did you feel like if you were working at the movie theater, do you think that was like a respectable job, or was it like you felt like you were running a daycare because all the kids came in to watch movies that got dropped off there?
I don't know. We'd have to go back in time.
Nowadays, kids can't really go anywhere. It's like they can't even stay at the mall without having an adult there. So
kids shouldn't be allowed to go anywhere.
They don't. It's sad because I feel like that's, I wouldn't have survived staying inside my house all the time. So I don't know what it would be like.
I think especially, I think even when I was a youth, a young rebellious Rob, where with his the cigarettes rolled up in his sleeve and such. Back then, everyone started getting in trouble. It was just like things, and we had stuff where I was growing up. You weren't allowed to hang out in any of the parks or playgrounds because something happened to somebody, and the police would no longer allow us to you couldn't meet at a park.
Really?
With you couldn't meet your friends there with cars. They would patrol the area and kick you out.
Oh.
You don't got to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yep.
That type of thing.
Yeah. Gotcha. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, back to Snow White. Anyways.
So. I mean, speaking of Snow White, I'm sure she got kicked out of many a park.
Oh, the poor lady.
She just got kicked out of her home.
We'll get into this in a little bit, but so bringing Snow White to life wasn't easy. It took 4 years to produce and cost $1.5 million, which is back then was a ton of money to blow on a film.
And so I happened to do the work and checked it just to see what that would cost for, adjusted for inflation nowadays. Yeah. And it's close to $32 million.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Anyways, they had to use a whole bunch of new techniques for this movie. And I am not an animator, so I don't know what any of these are.
You're not?
I'm not. It's just not a talent that I ever had. I've seen a lot of films being made, but nope, don't know about any of this stuff. But anyways, they used rotoscoping. And that's where the animators traced over the live action footage, which I've actually seen. We've seen a couple of Disney background shows about how this was done. And then the film also introduced the multi-plane camera, so creating a sense of depth never seen before in animation. So these were all really pivotal changes in the animation world.
Now, I thought rotoscoping was something that happened when you went to the proctologist. It's not rotoscoping.
Is that not roto-rooting?
Oh boy, we're going back. I always bring it down.
So, anywho, Snow White. I mean, it premiered at the Carthay Circle Theater. Am I saying that correct?
Yeah.
Carthay Circle Theater in December of 1937, and it was huge. There were so many people there. It was a massive success. The audience, this is all these naysayers were just like, oh wow, that was a really good film. And it made $8 million during its initial run, which is really great. I mean, okay, so it cost $1.5 million to make, but then it made $8 million.
Which again, adjusted for inflation is $240 million.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It won Walt Disney an honorary Academy Award. So,
and they put all the naysayers, he told them to go shove it.
It says here an honorary Academy Award, 1 full-sized Oscar and 7 miniature ones. Do we know if that really happened?
I
don't even know.
That I don't know. I did not see the 1938 Oscars.
But it definitely opened up the stage for future animated classics. So I think that once this one came out, it just totally opened the door. I mean, this was the first one, and then it was followed by so many other ones. It was just it's crazy to think about that. Anywho, I mean, the film itself I find really interesting because Snow White, I mean, how old is she? I always laugh at when we find out how old these princesses were.
Yeah. I mean, 16, something like that.
14.
14?
She was 14 years old, and she's waiting for her Prince Charming's kiss to come and awake her at 14 years old, and she lives with 7 little men that work all day in the woods that she has to cook and clean for. I'm not sure I enjoy these gender roles very much. What's happening here?
Those Grimm brothers. Those Grimm brothers. They sure were wacky.
I don't know. But I mean, she's been a fixture in the Disney parks since the very beginning, right? So, I mean, Disneyland and in the beginnings of Disneyland, they opened up they opened up a ride, featuring Snow White in 1955, and it was called Snow White's Scary Adventures.
Well, wait a minute. I found somewhat
controversial to that.
I found something different than that. Is that it was actually called Snow White and Her Adventures. At the time of opening, and then in 1983 is when they introduced.
Really? Because I thought it flip-flopped. I thought it started off with Snow White and Scary Adventures and then flopped to Snow White's Adventures, but I guess not.
I mean, again,
if you're saying,
they.
But listen, yes. I did watch this ride, and it was scary. It's supposed to be from Snow White's perspective, so it's not supposed to be designed as a happy I've been rescued. It's dark, and you're experiencing the terrors that Snow White herself was feeling. So you're supposed to be Snow White on this ride, and you're rushing through the forest. You're seeing the evil queen transform into the wicked old woman, and you're beckoned to eat the poison apple, and there's just no sign of happiness until probably about the end, but it's just it's scary. It's a scary ride.
I mean, it also looked to me, I watched it as well. To me, it seemed very like something I could see at Playland. It just was a very quick, you're in a moving car and there's
fast,
scenes.
Right? Yeah.
It wasn't very long at all.
I know. I was no, that can't be done already.
Yeah, and it was. But I could see how it was definitely scary because you're not seeing Snow White at all. And you're just you see the Seven Dwarfs for a small amount of time, and then the queen's offering you an apple. One of the things that they said would happen was that it was actually because the queen would kind of stick out her arm, that people would steal
the apple, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I heard that as well. Yeah. I was oh, come on now. But so not the best ride that you would want to go on. It did stick around for quite some time, right?
And then it was in 2021 is when they kind of redid it.
Well, they redid it a long time ago. In Disneyland, I think it hung around a little bit longer, right?
Yeah, in 2020. Oh, sorry. I was talking about Disneyland. Yeah. They redid it in 2021.
Yeah.
Where they kind of they were trying to make it something to kind of balance it, less scary, make it balanced. Because kids were getting scared, and that's what they wanted for kids to go in. I think in Magic Kingdom, so it was 71. Maybe that's where we were talking about two different things. It was her scary adventure.
Scary Adventures
were in 1971 when it opened, and in 1994
right, it changed over a little bit, and now that particular ride is now the Princess Fairy Tale Hall. It's no longer right, but then you can find the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at Magic Kingdom, which opened up in 2014, and they also have one over in Disneyland Shanghai, so we're keeping the story alive. Listen, I found a couple of things. I love this ride every time I've been on it, right? I had to wait a couple of years while it was open, only because I had really young kids, and until I could bribe one of them to go on it, we did not go. So it was cool. It was a really cool experience. I feel like it's a focal point of Fantasyland for sure, because it takes up a large amount of space.
And it's still a focal point of the Magic Kingdom at this point.
Yes.
It's still one of the busiest queues.
Yep. Yeah.
And so it's one of the more popular rides, and it's because it's a good thrill ride.
Yeah. So this attraction was built where Pooh's Playful Spot and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea attractions were, which is kind of a bummer. I really liked 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
I did and I didn't. I liked it, and I also felt claustrophobic in there.
Yeah, true.
Now, did you remember going on any of the other iterations? Did you go on Snow White and her?
I don't recall going on it. I do remember seeing Disney on Ice when I was younger, and there was a really creepy Snow White rendition, and it gave me nightmares forever.
That's creepy.
Anyways, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Back to it. I mean, wonderful ride, really fun. We make sure to go every single time. A little fact about the ride before you go, which kind of like gave me an aha moment. This is from Bob Jacobs' 5 Things to Know About Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. He said, as someone with a tendency to motion sickness, here's a part I wish I knew beforehand. Although your train is comprised of 5 mine carts, each can move independently of the other, which you can see, right, when you get on there.
Okay.
Using this patented track-mounted pivot mechanism allows the carts to sway from side to side, adding an extra layer of motion to the ride. So the ride's top speed is 34 miles per hour, which is on the slow side for a coaster, but the dips and turns are exaggerated by the swaying motion of your cart, creating a unique experience. I thought that was so interesting because he's right. Like, you are like kind of like jostled around in there just a little bit, and I didn't really think about it that in depth. So I thought that was a really cool fact.
Very fun. I just like going and touching all the gems in the beginning.
I know. And they have other little fun hidden things throughout there too. Yeah.
Especially the stuff everyone's been sneezing all over them and wiping the sweat off of themselves and grabbing them. Then I'm grabbing it and then, wait a minute, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do it.
Listen, you got to do what you do. Just bring your hand sanitizer.
No.
So
that accent.
If you are not getting enough from the mine train at Disney World, you could find Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in the Festival of Fantasy Parade in Magic Kingdom. And they also have a meet and greet in the Germany Pavilion in Epcot. Now, I've actually never seen them over in Epcot, so that was surprising to me.
No.
I guess you'd have to look up the times there on your app. And if you're still not getting enough, we have our travel specialists love to go to the storybook dining at Artist Point with Snow White. This is a loved character meal at Disney's Wilderness Lodge. And some of the meals I had to just plop them in here in my notes because they were really cool. You could do the Royal Prime Rib Roast, the Brothers Grimm Herbed Chicken, Magic Mirror Slow Braised Pork Shank, Beef Stroganoff, and the Fish of the Day. So, I mean, I thought those were really cool. And then you could top off the experience with the Poison Apple, a dark chocolate apple mousse, and the Fairy Tale Gooseberry Tart and Miner's Treasures. I mean, those are so fun.
Very fun.
I think they're cute.
Top of the line fun.
I
like them.
I don't know. I mean, aside from some of the story being a little bit old school and having those gender roles really kind of be I don't know about that. I think Snow White was definitely my lady. Like, when I went to Disney World, I walked right into those casting call offices and met with a very lovely lady. And I told her just flat out, I was like, I want to be Snow White. And she was like, oh. And she gave me the sympathy eyes and everything. And she's just like, well, how tall are you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why? And she's like, well, all of our Disney princesses need to be 5'8". And I was like, dang it. She's like, but we have plenty of other roles that we'd love to put you in. I was like, nope. That's the only thing I wanted to be.
They're like, would you like to be Piglet?
I am now done. So,
would you like to be a dwarf?
And it's so funny because I wonder about that pivotal moment. Like, should I have taken a different job at Disney?
Maybe.
Would I still have been there?
Maybe. Probably. No, it's also you're not that, you're what, 5'6"? I mean, it's not like you're that
That's so
Tiny.
so cute that you say that.
You're not that
I'm
tiny.
not 5'6".
You're
I'm not even 5'6".
5'6".
I'm not even close to 5'6".
You're what, 5'5"?
Not really.
Yeah, I think so.
Listen, if I stand up super tall, like, I mean, no crinkles in my
As
back,
long- we
I could
don't
make it to
go-
5'5".
We don't go hunched over.
Yeah, like if I'm like really at attention, but on my average day,
A 10, huh?
my doctor will tell you I'm 5'4".
5'6".
Nope, none of those things. I got the shorty
I
dream.
think so.
It's so sad when you look at me with the picture of all my cousins. They're like a foot taller than me. All of them. They're very tall. And yeah, I'm
Got
the
it.
little wee
Yeah,
one.
I guess. Your father's tall. Everyone's
Yeah,
tall.
Everyone's tall. Everyone's tall. Except for me.
Now, what
I drank a lot of coffee as a child.
Do you
That
remember
is not a lie.
Do you remember seeing Snow White for the first time? Do you remember like when you saw it, or was it something you saw? As a very,
Well, I mean, I saw
younger?
that Disney on Ice, right, when I was really little. But like the
Okay. You
witch
think-
scared the bejesus out of me.
Okay,
In that.
yeah, the witch is scary.
Yeah, it was so scary. I saw it in the Superdome, right?
Okay.
In New Orleans.
Oh, wait a minute! You're from New Orleans.
What do they call it? Do they call it the Caesar Dome or Caesar Palace, or is
Caesar's
it just
Palace Superdome? I think it's still
Yeah.
the Superdome. But,
Superdome? Got it.
I saw. See, one of my memories is I remember going to see it in a movie theater at the Avon Theater in Stanford.
Ooh.
And they actually, it was like a thing, and they actually had people like maybe one or two dwarves, people dressed up in the dwarves costume, and you could like take pictures of it.
Oh, really?
And oddly enough, you know who took us to go see it? I think it was like me, my younger, it was Jessica. I don't know if Mike, I think Mikey might have been there.
Oh.
But it was Aunt Joanne, who,
Oh.
if you know my aunt,
That doesn't
is-
seem like that's her
but
thing.
my aunt is under 5 feet tall.
Yes, she's very
So
little.
she in herself, but yeah, no, she took us to go see it.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I
Aunt
think-
Joanne. I'm going to talk to her
think-
about it the next
I
holiday
think
I
that was
see her.
back in, I don't know. Yeah, I mean that had to be late 80s. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's so cool.
But anyway.
All right.
But yeah, that's what I remember. Now, do you know about? Are there more than just one iteration of Snow White in the theaters? Before we talk about what's ahead of us.
Do you know whether there's more than one? I mean, you're asking me a question.
No,
on
I didn't
which
know.
I'm
I didn't
just
know
like,
if you knew.
what?
So there was just obviously 1937, then they re-released it and everything else. There wasn't really a theatrical another version, but they did come out with a direct-to-video horror movie
No.
of Snow White, starring the Snow White was played by this actress Monica Keena, who was in Dawson's Creek, and she was also the final girl from Freddy vs. Jason movie. But who played the witch?
Who?
And this was the bigger person. It was Sigourney Weaver.
No way. I
Yeah.
like
So
Sigourney.
she was the evil queen, and then turned in, and she had like very scary makeup on,
Oh.
and it was called Snow White: The Tale of Terror.
No thanks.
Yeah. So I don't even remember how they handled the. I'm pretty sure I rented it for Blockbuster,
Oh my god.
but I don't remember how they handled the dwarfs. If they were just like creepy little, or they were like scary, or if they protected her, I don't remember. But
Interesting.
know
I'm
of
not
that
sure that
movie.
I want to see that, but I am curious
Well,
to see
I-
scenes from it.
I mean, we're going to be
guess.
watching it on our family movie night, so get ready to be up with the kids.
Because Pirates of Caribbean went so well.
Yes, can you believe this? Yes, I think they would have watched the rest of it.
No. So No.
I've been trying to introduce the kids to like more not adult, but a little bit more grown up stuff. Obviously, I'm old, and I come from when I was like 5-6 years old. I was watching full on horror movies.
right.
So, but it was different back then in the 80s, obviously, growing up, and you watched, Star Wars, and you watched all these different things that had like scary scenes, but then it was filled with, there were Ewoks as well. So it was, the Jabberwocky was chasing you, and then the Ewoks would show up to make you forget about it and make you feel comfortable. But, the kids these days, they're just like watching on Netflix. They're like, I don't need to watch anything scary because there's 1,000 other things I could watch.
Right.
And
exactly.
So I've been trying to slowly introduce them into like more adult fare. So we tried, tried watching Goosebumps over the summer.
Oh my gosh.
There was like a
Total
scene
fail.
with like a dog turned into a vampire, and they both freaked out.
I was done.
And then this movie, I still feel like they would have watched it.
Well, I think the inopportune thing was that right as it was like bedtime and we were saying, okay, we'll watch the rest later, was like right as the pirates start turning into like the nighttime like zombie form,
I guess
right?
so. And the
So it
skeletons
wasn't,
and stuff,
didn't, that was not a good point to stop. And then we're like, okay, sweet dreams. Yeah.
So because we were like Pirates of the Caribbean. We watched the ride,
we loved the ride.
Yeah, we watched the ride beforehand so that we could remember everything that was going on. Anywho, there were other direct-to-video incarnations of Snow White, but it was all kind of Disney related, right? So Snow White was in Mickey's Magical Christmas, Snowden at the House of Mouse.
Yeah.
She was also in something called Mickey's House of Villains. She was in Once Upon a Halloween. And then, of course, as we all remember, the evil queen, her mom is part of the Descendants.
Yes.
Right. I guess her stepmom. I don't know. What evil queen was her stepmom or not mom? No, she was just like a stepmom, right?
I think it was her stepmom, yeah.
Yeah, step parents, I tell you. And then, she does, I guess, Snow White, she has a minor appearance. She's a television reporter in The Descendants.
Oh.
I don't remember that part, but.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know that either.
Interesting.
They showed up. She's also showed up in TV series. She was in things such as Sophia the First and stuff like that. Then you had the theme park, and now there were video game adaptations that no one probably remembers. I can't say I've ever played anything Snow White, Seven Dwarfs, but that now leads us up into now we're back in 2025. We've gone all throughout history from 1937 up to now, and there's a new Snow White live action film coming out.
There is.
It's
going to be so cool. And it's starring Rachel Zegler. You might know her from West Side Story. And Gal Gadot.
I think
Gal Gadot.
I think it actually is Gadot, even though we all say Gadot.
Oh, interesting. Well, she's from Wonder Woman.
Yes, she is.
So
yeah, she's typically known as a hero, and now she's playing a bad person.
She is playing the villain, and it's so interesting. I mean, she plays a good villain from what I've seen in the trailer.
Yeah. Now there obviously has been some controversy in it, and just because of the casting of Snow White and Rachel Zegler.
Ever since day one, yep.
Because, Snow White, she's known as having a fair, she's Snow White, fair skin. That's why Abbie went to go play her, because Abbie has a fair complexion.
Right.
Rachel Zegler does not,
right.
she was in, she played Maria in West Side Story.
Yep.
Which is a completely different role. She has a darker skin.
Yep.
I don't want to say, I don't know exactly what of descent she is, but
it was a different casting, right?
Yeah, it was a different casting, and a lot of people are crazy. They're like, not my Snow White, and all. Now
listen, we just experienced the same thing with the Ariel, right? That's not my Ariel. We need a redhead,
they did
white chick.
But it's also,
but she won us over with the first note she sang. We're like, oh, that's not my Ariel.
For us people that are open minded to those things, yes, absolutely. Yeah. And this is after dealing with 10,000 other times where it would be a white actor playing a role that was typically for someone else,
right? And now it's just coming around again.
So I mean, it's like everyone just relax, go enjoy the movie. Your kids are going to enjoy the movie,
right?
Go have a good time.
Listen, at Disney World now we get all sorts of different
I guess
scoops of ice cream, as you say, and that's okay.
And so one of the other things that I forgot about was the theatrical adaptations of the Snow White and the Huntsman, right?
Oh yeah. See, that was like, I think, like the true story, right? The Snow Whites and the Huntsman.
I
Ooh.
think it was supposed to be slightly more real to the, but then it like turns like this fantasy, like not like action movie, right? It didn't really, it turned into this big thing, and that was obviously starting, Look, I only see movies. My Snow White is Bella from
Twilight.
Twilight. That's who was,
Okay.
she was that, and then it was, Chris Hemsworth was the Huntsman.
Okay.
And they were supposed to be like, they were like, there was romantic connections.
I didn't see this one.
You didn't see that one?
No.
Oh, interesting.
It seems like something I would have seen, right?
Yeah, you would have seen it.
Weird.
But then they also had, and that was like the controversy there was that the dwarves were played by regular size actors. They were just miniaturized them.
Oh.
It was like forced perspective and stuff. And so it was, yeah.
That seems different. I feel like there's like all sorts of different kinds of actors. And I mean, I feel like I've seen, I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
So there was that. And then there was the sequel, which I don't remember anything about.
All right. Well, hey, let's get back to the live action one because that's coming out. It opens. I am so excited because the Alamo Drafthouse is like going all out for this. It opens there on March 21st, and they, like I said, are going all out. It's going to be so cool. You can get so many things when you go there. You'd have to like pre-order them. They have an apple basket lunchbox or a hooded blanket. Like the hooded blanket's so cute. It's like a little Red Riding Hood cape. That is what I don't really get. I mean, I don't know if Snow White also wears a little Red Riding Hood. I don't recall, but they're getting one at the Alamo Drafthouse, and you can get it if you want. And the meals that they're serving are like right alongside with like the Snow White stuff. They've got like a Princess Pesto pizza and a gemstone salad. And of course, they've got their red apple punch.
Oh, I like that.
And an apple pie shake.
Ooh.
I mean, it's like very, very cool.
Yeah.
So if you have an Alamo Drafthouse near you, I would definitely suggest heading over there for this. I love it. I love the little tchotchke things. I love that this little, I don't know if this comes with your Apple lunchbox, to be honest, but they have like an old school thermos with it, and it would be really cool if it did come with it, but I have a feeling it doesn't. But the old school thermos is like got like the screw on top. I swear I used to have these like when I was younger, right?
Actual
like
lunch boxes.
Really.
Yeah, the thermos
thermos
made by Thermos.
Yes. Anyways, so I think the movie's gonna be a hit. I really do think it's gonna be really good, despite like us having to get over.
Yes.
Everything. It's gonna blow our minds, as they usually do.
I'm looking forward to it. We're going. The kids are going. One of them's going on a birthday party to go see it, and we'll take the other one.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. Now, before we move on to kind of the rest of the Enchanted Forest, that is Disney, can you name all 7 dwarfs? Without looking at the screen that you're just on. Stop scrolling. No, you're looking at your screen.
No, I can't. All right. Okay. We've got Doc.
Yep.
Sleepy.
Yep.
Grumpy.
Yep.
Bashful.
Yeah.
Sneezy.
Yep. I mean.
Sneezy.
So you said Doc. You said Bashful.
Dopey.
Oh
my God, I have one more. Oh my God.
It's, what are when you wake me up after I've fallen asleep on the couch and tell me you're going upstairs, and then what mood am I in?
Well, you're sleepy, but then
I just woke up and I'm kind of.
Grumpy? Didn't I already say
Oh, I
grumpy?
thought you didn't say grumpy. Well, then what's the opposite of grumpy?
Happy. That's the one I didn't say.
Okay, there we go.
I got it.
See, it's married folk charade play.
Married charades.
Yeah, we're figuring it all out, people.
That's funny. All right. I'm proud of myself right now. Thank you.
You should be.
But we want to hear about what you think Snow White's impact has been on your life. So make sure that you tell us your thoughts. Okay.
Let us know. Find one of our social posts and comment on it.
Yes, please. I hate just talking to myself over here. Anyway,
Well, I mean, you're not talking to yourself. You're talking to me.
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, boo.
Yeah, but do you really want to talk to me anymore?
I mean, most of the time.
Probably not. Breaking news.
Dun, dun, dun.
Savi's Workshop in Hollywood Studios.
I thought you were going to talk about the actual breaking news, but got it. Got it. This is your breaking news, okay?
What are you talking?
I'm ready. Go for it.
Savi's Workshop, their hand-built lightsabers debuting new experience and scrap pieces at Disney's Hollywood Studios.
Oh,
that's
boy.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh.
I can't wait. I'm booking my own experience, and I'm not allowing any of you to come with me.
Okay.
I want a new lightsaber.
Awesome.
So anyway, there's something, all right, for all of us people, we're all the Disney World folk that don't go to Disneyland. We feel left out because their Galaxy's Edge is kind of cooler than ours because they have Seasons of the Force.
Yep.
And then they now
really
debuted a dessert party that you can book at the Cargo 7 docking bay. And you could like go there and get desserts and then watch the fireworks show. That's just meant for Star Wars. But why do we not have that in Disney World? Why does that not happen in Florida? Why can't we have the happy? I don't know,
darling.
But anyway, so now we have this thing. It's called Reclaimed and Reforged, and it's a new theme coming starting on Star Wars Day, which is May the 4th, and will go until the supplies last. Because there's all new parts. So you can make new lightsabers, and there's going to be like a new story involved.
Oh boy.
Slightly new story.
Now, are you saving your pennies so that you can do this?
Probably not, because if I do it, all the kids are going to want it, and that is expensive.
That's true. It is expensive.
It's like $200.
Yep.
So I cannot, Abbie would not want her own lightsaber, but the kids would, and then if the kids did, I would want one. Like, I'm not letting you get a new lightsaber without me getting a lightsaber. So now we're looking at $600. I mean, come on.
Well, Mama Abbie is just somewhere else enjoying herself.
Mama Abbie. Kind of talking on the movie front. They're just about to begin filming Spider-Man 4, the new Spider-Man 4, starring Tom Holland. Right, he's coming back, and there's a new thing. For us Stranger Things fans, Sadie Sink, who I can't think of her name, but she's the redheaded actress that was in the last Stranger Things. She was like possessed by she kept floating, and she got very popular. She's going to be joining the cast. The rumor is that she's going to be playing Jean Grey, who was a member of the X-Men, but is going to be like coming into the Spider-Verse and see how that all plays out. If we remember, I don't want to give any spoilers away. It's the last Spider-Man movie, but it was like alternate universe, and like they didn't know Spider-Man in this new universe, or who Spider-Man was, I guess you'd say.
Okay.
So that's kind of interesting. Moving along, as talked about in the Magical Minute, I think 2 weeks ago, in the Maharaja Jungle Trek, the bat exhibit is reopened.
I know. It was such a short little stint there.
Now the bats are alive.
Yep.
And they're back. The bats are back. The bats are out of my belfry, and they're back. You can go see them when you go to the Maharaja Jungle Trek. They're allowed back in Animal Kingdom. What else? Okay. As we talked about last week in our Disney Hotel, Best of Disney Hotel 2025 episode, the Disney's Yacht Club is their pool, Stormalong Bay, which is really awesome. It's like a mini water park, is, you know, shutting down, being closed for renovations for a long time. Excuse me while I take a sip.
Such a bummer.
To make matters worse, they're now working on the facade of the Disney's Yacht Club Resort. So it's like, if you're staying there, which it's like, I hope you did your research, or I hope you at least got a travel specialist who would have told you, like, maybe you don't want to stay there. But if you were staying there, it's like, we can't go to the pool. I mean, unless the rates are better. I don't know if they're offering better rates because this pool's closed or anything like that.
Not that I've seen.
But now you also have to deal with work being done on like the front of the hotel as well.
Yeah.
So it seems like a lot.
That is a lot. That's a bummer.
Let's see. Working. Construction walls are down finally from the Plaza Restaurant in Magic Kingdom. But you know what? They revealed that, you know what changes were.
Tell me.
Done? You can't tell. It looks exactly the same. I'm guessing they were just like structural or it's like upkeep. I don't really know. It looks exactly the same. Everyone's just like, huh? Scratching their scratch. It feels like they've been working on it forever, right?
Yep.
To make matters worse, because it was just the Magic Kingdom. There's a lot of construction going on over there. Just like Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, they've laid down new railroad tracks.
Yep.
It's coming along. Of course, the person that reported on it is just like taking pictures, and it just shows like the workers just kind of standing around. So
Classic.
like, now I wonder why it won't be open until 2027. I hope not. So in Epcot, they have a place called Club Cool, right?
Okay.
And it has soda fountains.
Mm-hmm.
And the soda fountains have been restocked, aside for one remaining flavor. And do you know what that is?
So
No, you're not going to know.
They've got Coke, Sprite, one soda that doesn't. Okay, what?
Well, they do, but there's like all like crazy flavors. So it says multiple drinks were missing from the soda fountains that still had flavors, including the Philippines' Royal Watermelon, China's Sour Plum, and the Dominican Republic's Country Club Meringue.
Okay. Well.
Would you go there?
I mean, I wouldn't know.
As of Tuesday, March 11th, there's only one flavor missing from the machines, and that's the Philippines' Royal Watermelon.
Okay, good.
All the other missing flavors have been restocked. So you can go. There's like one from Russia. There's one from Madagascar. All crazy stuff over at Club Cool. So go check it out. See what type of weird flavors you can. If anyone has had a flavor at Club Cool and anything you like, let us know in the comments.
Sounds perfect.
Let's see. We did Snow White. We did this. This was kind of a funny story. This is over in Disneyland, which has its own levels of construction going on. I think the Grand California Hotel, they're working on that. They're redoing it over there. But so there is the Donald Faison, who was most of us know him from Scrubs.
Yep.
Right? Turkleton. That wasn't his real name. It was Chris Turk. But some of us know maybe as Murray from Clueless.
Oh, yeah. Murray.
Or maybe some of you listen to his podcast that he does with his good friend, Zach Braff. It's called Fake Doctors, Real Friends. And so he was retelling a story, and he's a Disney fan, right? He loved going to Disneyland. And this happened to him while he was on the cast of Scrubs. So it was quite a while ago. That he used to go there. He said like twice a month he would go to Disneyland.
Yeah. And
spend the day there. So he had a friend of his that was also a big Disney guy. And so they met there. Mm-hmm. And his friend was a big Pluto fan.
Yeah. And
so they arranged to have a special like Pluto photo opportunity with his friend. He arranged for it to happen. And so they kind of, and it was like a surprise sort of thing.
Got it.
So the Pluto came up, and when his friend saw Pluto, he got so excited that he picked up Pluto.
Oh no.
He like put him in his arms and was like holding him like this.
Oh geez.
Yeah, and they even had like a photo pass photographer there to like take these pictures.
Yeah.
So as soon as their friend picked up Pluto, he said they were swarmed by security.
Oh yeah.
And even though it was, a known actor, like a famous celebrity, they were escorted from Disneyland, and Donald Faison was banned for a year.
No.
Yeah, they wouldn't let him in.
No.
Yeah, so that's what he told everybody during the
No way.
Yeah, so sometime during the filming of Scrubs, Donald Faison got banned.
Oh my gosh, he must have been so upset. Like now, does he go back now, or was he like turned off?
Yeah, that I don't know. I know he has a good amount. He has a large amount of kids, and so I'm sure they go there at some point.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so that's fun. Zach Braff's, he was like, the lesson of that is don't pick up Pluto.
Yeah, don't pick up characters. You will be banned.
As you know, don't touch any of the cast members. Don't touch the cast members.
I try not to.
You try not to?
Well,
yes,
remember,
you heard about that, yes.
Yeah, like it was just that I was like putting my arm around a princess for a photo, and then I realized like this is so creeping. I'm touching someone I don't even know, and this person is letting me like touch their back or whatever, and I'm like, ugh, like that's not okay. Anyways,
now
that's my story.
Now it was a great story.
I know you loved it.
Now the breaking news that Abbie thought I was alluding to earlier. We'll talk about that now because we're going to go over to Universal and we're going to talk about the Epic universe. Because what's the big news of the day?
Well, I mean, all of a sudden, as in suddenly, they decided to release the purchase of one-day Epic tickets. Now, this doesn't start, I mean, you can purchase them today, but you wouldn't be able to go until June, okay?
Up until now, you had to buy ticket packages
to get your ticket
to get your tickets to Epic Universe, and now you're able to buy a separate individual ticket.
Do you know how many pissed off people there are right now? However, the tickets are much pricier as the one-day standalone ticket. I can say that for sure. I mean, I was looking at tickets; they were in the $180, $190 range, depending per ticket. Depending on what kind of day it was for the parks. So it is not a cheap adventure.
They're showing the calendar. Which starts, it looks like the calendar starts on June 1st.
Yes.
Up through the end of the year. Tickets are ranging for adults from $139 being the lowest to $199.
Right, but have they actually seen a $139 day? Do they have that somewhere? Or they're just giving that range? Because $139 is what you get when you get them in a package.
The calendar, yes. In days in September.
Oh, when nobody's in Florida.
Like on a Wednesday in September, you can go for $139. But yeah, other than that, it's all like $180, $160.
Now, I wonder why they decided to release this. It was quite the interesting scene on the Disney travel agent side of it, because you could tell that some of the travel specialists that lead the groups over at Universal weren't really super aware that this was coming down and that it was still being tested a little bit. So there were meetings happening with people, the agents at home, and like not in like the most nice environments to be on video chat. So it was an interesting day. Okay. But all in all, exciting news. Really exciting to have these tickets out. Of course, we're all considering how to get that extra trip in. We want to see Epic Universe and enjoy all the cool things about it.
I mean, the one thing I can guarantee is that it will be epic. But it might be epically expensive because
that's true.
For a family of four, it's almost $800.
That's true. I did send him a little Halo emoji saying, hey, if we want to just tack this on. I mean,
I don't think we're gonna have any budget left after the Savi's workshop.
That's true.
And especially what we're gonna have to buy the kids like churros because when Daddy walks out with a lightsaber and they didn't get one.
Oh man, we're gonna just have to find a churro truck. Anyways, all good things. All good things.
So I think that does it for me.
I mean, but that was a pretty good episode, man. We talked all about Snow White.
I mean, you're slightly biased, so I don't know if you can. We want to know what you think. The people out there listening, was it a good episode?
Yeah, please hop on those socials and let us know. And until then, we'll see you next week.
This has been a Family Travel Planner production.